You have been told that trusting God should feel natural. You have been told surrender comes with enough prayer. But no one told you why it still feels like losing. No one explained the silence after the declaration. You say the words, you mean them, and the fear is still there in the morning. The anxiety does not leave. The grip does not open. And underneath all of it lives a quiet, crushing guilt. The guilt that you are not trusting enough, that a stronger Christian would have let go by now. That your faith must be broken because peace has not arrived. That guilt is not from God. It was placed on you by a version of religion that never understood what divine will actually is. Today, we are not talking about trying harder to trust. We are talking about what happens inside your soul when it finally stops performing and actually surrenders. These are not external changes. They are internal shifts, deep ones. The kind religion never prepared you to recognize. Because religion was too busy teaching you to perform trust. It never showed you what happens when trust stops being a performance. If this is already reaching something in you, subscribe now. This channel exists for those who are done with a faith that adds weight instead of removing it. The truth within faith is for you. Here is what the truth within faith reveals. Surrender to divine will is not a spiritual achievement. It is not earned through enough prayer. It is not the reward for Christians who perform their faith correctly. It is a collapse, a necessary one. It is the moment your soul stops fighting what God has already arranged. And when that happens, 6 things shift inside you. Not around you, inside you. Shift 1. The first shift. The guilt of not trusting enough disappears. Religion invented a performance scale for faith. Trust God more. Trust God completely. Trust God fully. And if life remained hard, you concluded your trust was deficient. You blamed your own soul for the suffering you were living. That is not biblical. That is a religious invention. Romans 8:26 says, "The Spirit intercedes for us in our weakness." God did not design trust as a test you could fail. He designed it as a relationship you fall deeper into over time. The moment your soul surrenders to divine will, that guilt dissolves, not because you became stronger, because you finally understood what God was asking, not perfection, presence. Shift 2. The second shift. Your prayers stop being negotiations. Most people pray to change God's mind. They present their case. They explain why their plan makes sense. They remind God of the promises. They plead with evidence. That is not prayer, that is bargaining. And when God does not respond as expected, the bargain feels broken. The moment your soul relinquishes control to divine will, something breaks open. You stop asking God to agree with you. You start asking God to show you what He already sees, Matthew 6:10. Your kingdom come, your will be done. That is not passive resignation. That is the most powerful declaration a human being can make. It is choosing God's vision over your own. If this is landing somewhere deep in you, leave a comment below. Write divine will, not as a phrase, as a decision you are making today. And if someone you know is exhausted from trying to trust, share this with them now. Shift 3. The third shift. Peace arrives before the answer does. Religion taught you that peace follows resolution. Solve the problem, then feel peace. Receive the call, then exhale. Get the answer, then rest. But Philippians 4:7 describes a peace that surpasses understanding. Understanding. That is the key word. It arrives before you understand what is happening. It arrives in the middle of the storm. Not as God's answer, as God's presence. When your soul surrenders to divine will, you stop waiting for the outcome to grant you peace. Peace enters the moment you release the door handle, not after. The moment. Shift 4. The fourth shift. The voice you have been avoiding becomes unavoidable. Most Christians have heard it. A quiet pull, a persistent knowing, a direction that defied logic, and they talked themselves out of it. Because religion trained them to distrust anything that could not be explained from a pulpit. But that voice is not dangerous. John 10:27. My sheep hear my voice. Not a metaphor, a reality. When the soul stops filling every silence with its own agenda, the voice has space. When the hands release the grip of control, divine will moves through the opening. You begin to hear not what you want God to say, you begin to hear what God is actually saying, and what He is saying has always been there, waiting for the quiet. Shift 5, the fifth shift. Your identity stops depending on what happens to you. This is what religion never addressed. Your identity was quietly anchored to outcomes. If the marriage survived, you were faithful. If the career succeeded, God was with you. If the healing came, your faith was real. That framework is a trap, and it is not from Scripture. Romans 8:35. Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? The answer is nothing. No outcome, no failure, no unanswered prayer. When your soul surrenders to divine will, you stop using your circumstances to measure your worth to God. You stop performing for a verdict that was already given at the cross. You become unmovable. Not because life stopped moving, because you stopped measuring yourself by it. Shift 6, the sixth shift. God's silence stops feeling like punishment. This is the one that breaks people. You pray, no answer. You wait, nothing moves. You surrender again, still quiet. And the silence feels like rejection. Religion told you that God's silence meant disapproval, that you had done something wrong, that you needed to try harder. But Habakkuk 2:3 says this, "The vision awaits its appointed time. It will not lie. If it seems slow, wait for it. It will surely come." God's silence is not God's absence. God's silence is preparation you cannot yet see. When your soul truly relinquishes control to divine will, the silence changes. It stops feeling empty. It starts feeling full, not with answers yet, with the trust that the answer is already being formed. You have been carrying a weight that was never yours to carry, the guilt of insufficient trust, the exhaustion of forced surrender, the shame of praying and still feeling afraid. Here is what the truth within faith reveals. None of that disqualifies you. All of it is the process your soul moves through before it finally lets go. Most religion will teach you to trust God by trying harder. The truth inside the faith is this: you do not trust God by increasing your effort. You trust God by decreasing your resistance. And when that happens, when the soul finally relinquishes, everything changes. Not because God changed, because you stopped blocking what He was already doing. You are not the only one who has struggled to surrender. Jacob wrestled with God through the entire night. David cried out that God had hidden his face. Job sat in silence and received no explanation. And every one of them was known, loved, and held by divine will through the whole process. So are you. The struggle you are in right now is not a sign of weak faith. It is the very place where real surrender begins. In the comments below, write divine will, not as a wish, as a declaration. And share this with someone who is exhausted from trying to trust and feeling like they are failing, because they need to hear this today. Stay with us. More truth is coming.